Alrighty, my ice wizard. Oh no, I think because I already got the pop-up. So let's go to Chrysalis. Alrighty, the fastest way to get to that tower is through the bastion. Just go to the moon cliffs. And you want to go to the Eclipse Tower, but you have to go all the way around, and then there's a little magical path that you take over the water to get there. Of course, this is only if you already have the quest to go there, because as soon as you get to Chrysalis and to this area, you are not automatically going to go there and get your shadow magic. You have to progress further into Chrysalis. And like I said, all the way around and along this cosmic looking path. I love this place, it's gorgeous. Sophia Darkside.
And it begins with a pact. You must let the shadow in, as I have. Within the darkness are creatures, forbidden from the spiral, scratching to get in. So let them in. Let them attach themselves to you. Experience through you, and they will enhance your own power. This pact need not be feared. The creatures are not malevolent. The shadow is not evil. But its loyalties are to itself, banished, as it was from our realm. Thus, shadow creatures demand a tribute when summoned that the native beasts of the spiral do not. Our magic for theirs, light for darkness. Here, I will show you. This will lead you to a shadow of this tower. There, you can meet these creatures and learn their ways. See what we offer you, and then you will want to form a pact of your own.
Tutorial! Yay! Alright, what do I have in here? Okay, I can't press P to look at my deck. Okay.
There are many different shadow creatures that offer unique advantages. But to call on them, you need the magic of their domain. Shadow magic is fueled by pips, like any other magic. But it often uses a unique variant called the Shadow Pip. See this gauge? It fills a little each round depending on your proficiency with shadow magic. Your shadow rating relative to your enemies. When it is full, you gain 1 shadow pip the next round, up to the maximum number of shadow pips you can carry, which for now is 1.
So the reason why they say that, even though this particular wizard that I'm on can have 2, is because this is the beginning tutorial for it, and at that time you can only have 1. So just to let you know, I do believe that it'll be a different experience for those that don't already have a ton of shadow spells learned, and so they will get a summon every time they learn a new spell. They'll get another summon from the shadow trainer, I guess you would say, the shadow form for their school, and it'll have some dialogue and tell them to come and see them. So this will be a different experience from somebody who's starting out as a brand new wizard learning shadow magic. I'm assuming that.
Some spells may require a combination of shadow and normal pips, which you will continue to accrue normally. For now, let us pass the turn, so you can gain a shadow pip. With that shadow pip, you will be able to call upon this shrike, assume its shape, and add its power to your own. But beware the cost. For each round you spend in its form, the shrike will demand the magical energy of helpful charms. Let's prepare for this pact by casting a blade.
It should be more realistic, and I have to put the blade onto myself. She's so magical. I love her so much.
Call upon the Shadow Shrike. Let its power and shape envelop you.
Now this Shadow Shrike, this is the polymorph version. See, I turn into it, as opposed to the one that you use for fusion that you can make a shadow version of now. You can have a non-shadow version and a regular shadow version. The shadow version is, of course, more powerful.
Now you and the Shrike are as one. In its form, your offensive magic is boosted, but the spirit of the Shrike lingers behind you and waits. It waits for you to make good on the bargain you struck. See the scroll? It means the shadows demand tribute for the Shrike.
That scroll right there that's circling me.
Each round. If you fail to pay, the shadow will take its reward from your health instead, growing ever more ravenous. You must be prepared to pay it each round until the contract comes due. Now let us see the power we are paying for.
Ow. I mean, you didn't see it, but it did use up that.
The Shrike increased your attack, and it took your blade as its payment.
Thank you. Because I was looking elsewhere. Ooh, that was pretty weak for a myth creature. And a Shrike. What the heck? Ooh, Seraph. See, unlike Diego, she actually does the tutorial with us, which is helpful because then you can see a different version of it.
That foe matches your strength, but can it match us both? Long have I let my own pact grow. Let me show you what we can do.
Yeah.
Casting this blade should help cover the next round. Unfortunately, there wasn't a charm to pay the Shrike this round. It looms over you, growing for each missed payment.
Just saying.
Your pact with the Shrike will end this round. So let's take advantage of that damage boost once more.
Now what they should say is you can see how many rounds you have left by the number right here. They have 2 rounds on theirs and I have 1 round on mine. They forgot to mention that part. Because, I mean, who has time to keep track and count? Ow. So why would the Shrike go away before I attacked? I don't get that. It's supposed to go away at the end of the turn, not at the beginning.
You paid for 3 rounds of Shrike with 2 blades and 1 with your health. This is the challenge with Shadow Pacts. You must always be attentive of their cost. Oh, but what power they grant you! Apart from their forms, shadow creatures can also help you enhance your spells with magical fusion. When trained in the practice of fusion, you can imbue spells in your hand with a pact to access greater power. Unfortunately, these mortal forms wither, so we may require a more defensive strategy to win. Form a new pact with a sentinel. It will both attack the adversary and shield you. Note, the price of this pact is helpful charms from an enemy. Luckily, our enemy has such charms. Cast the sentinel before the opponent has a chance to use those charms.
Ooh. Thank you for giving me my health back. That was very polite of you.
There. The shadows have noticed our efforts. They have come to form a pact with you.
Yay!
After the pact is made,
Oh no, I forgot to
the
check
shadow
ahead of
will
time.
always be yours to call upon. As for which creature to pact with, well, each breed of creature offers advantages to the techniques of each magical school. Listen, and one of them will call out to you.
Thaumaturges defend. I can improve that and expand it. A wall that falls can crush an army. We can be so much more than a shield.
Darn right. Let's go talk to him.
The pact is forged. We will tear through your foes with nary a scratch.
You're so cool.
You will not regret this pact, I promise you. And you can return here at any time to commune with your shadow creature and deepen your bond. The shadow may seem bizarre, its creatures untrusting, but they need not consume you, so long as you mind the price of any spell. If you do, the shadow will always be yours to control, and you'll be able to shift easily from its darkness to the light. Now,
Whoop! And see, because I have all of these shadow spells already, so we have Freezeray, Abominable Weaver, Shadowhorn, Climaclysm, and Snowball Barrage. No, my pop-up. Oh, I didn't click it fast enough. I want to know what they said. Okay, well, I guess we'll just go back to the Sentinel. I'm sad I missed it. Better click on it fast then. Don't be like me. Well, she has yet to be able to enter Darkmoor to start learning the Hierophant. So, definitely can't use this one. Plus, it does say 180. And I know that you don't get your spell at 180. But I think to train this one, you have to be 180. So, we're going to get Dark Weaver. Whoop! Snow No Mercy. Whoop! Pretty. Shadowhorn. And Evil Freezeray. And like I said, I do have one more lower level wizard, my myth, that I can do this on. He doesn't have many spells. I think maybe 2 of them, shadow spells. So he will actually be getting a pop-up once he learns his next one. That's my guess. Okay, now that I've learned these, just say something like this one, where you want to upgrade it so that it can either do like a lot of damage and give some shields, or more damage per pip, or Dark Age, which can do more damage or a lot less damage, but putting on 3 traps. And Shadowhorn either does more damage and the taunt, or way less damage and some weaknesses. And Evil Freezeray is more damage or less damage and some weaknesses. Luckily, both paths require the same payment. So what's the change with these? Okay, so clearly it's not a shadow version, so you don't have to wait for the shadow pip. But it still costs the same amount of regular pips, but the original shadow version did 790 to 910 damage and then put a tower shield on you. This one does way like 1/3 less damage and puts a tower shield. However, don't forget, you don't have to wait for the shadow. The shadow is what enhances it, so that's why these are so lowered. Or you can choose this one over here, which does tiny bit less damage, and then it uses up some harmful wards to put on a 75% shield for yourself from their school. But if you're looking at the Dark Weaver, so the previous Abominable Weaver as the shadow spell did 790 to 910 damage, this one does way more damage than that and still gives you the shield. But if you choose this one over here, you would get 3 80% shields for the target school, and it does not quite half, but a lot less damage. Snowball Barrage was a per pip shadow spell, so you need a shadow pip and then however many regular pips you were going to use. 95 damage per pip to all enemies. Snow No Mercy does 125, and then 130, 135, or you can do a lot less and get some 60% tower shields. Whereas this one only does 45 per pip, and then 50, 55, 60, 65. Or you can pay 6 pips for this one, clearing up to 5 negative charms to put up to 5 40% tower shields, and then it does 430 flat damage. It doesn't say it's an AoE, but I'm thinking it's an AoE. I don't think they changed that part. I mean, it should use the all enemies symbol, but I don't see that. Like that right there. Again, they really should stop not using the same symbols for everything, because Snow No Mercy is an AoE, Shadowhorn is a single hit, Evil Freezeray is an AoE. So they should use the proper one on their. Dark Weaver is a single hit. Previously, Climaclysm did 732 divided to all enemies, and it was 4 in a shadow pip. Now it does 200 to all enemies and 60% ice trap. However, that's to all enemies as well. You could actually use potent trap on this, because this is not a conditional. It puts a trap on there no matter what. It's not a if you do this you get this. No, there's no if. You get the damage and the trap. So this one can be quite good, especially if you were setting up a hit for another ice person. That's good. Or for yourself. All of these are choosing the targets, and then it does only 270 flat damage, and then gambits up to 2 weaknesses for 70% ice traps. But Dark Age does 1010 damage to whichever enemies that you choose, divided between them, not evenly. And the payment is weaknesses on the target. Or it can do half as much damage, but put 3 65% traps on the target. And previously, Shadowhorn did 900 to 1020 damage and then did a taunt for 3 rounds. Now it only does 300 damage and then taunt for 2 rounds, or you can do slightly more damage and then gambit the traps on them for a weakness. Yeah. To me, I still don't think 305 damage for 5 pips. That's not good. Yes, of course, Sun Enchant spell, epic. You can make it 600, but ouch. And Shadowhorn does 1095, which is only slightly more than the max end of Shadowhorn previously. And then it only taunts for 2 rounds. So, in my opinion, this one isn't an improvement. This is kind of the same thing. And then if you choose the lower path, damage goes absolutely tanked, and you get 3 45% weaknesses on the target. Ouch. And finally, Freezeray, 765 to 845 damage to all critters. Now it does only half of that, and that's it. Or it can clear up to 5 weaknesses and put a weakness on them. Then it does basically the same damage as both sides. Interesting. So I don't know why you would choose the top path if the bottom path is identical to it, because the only condition here is clearing the weakness for putting a weakness on them. So that's interesting. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This one does 460 damage instead of 455. So I would go with the bottom path because it's doing the same amount of damage. So this one's actually a bonus. The damage sucks no matter what. So this one is not a choosing the enemies. This is still an AoE, and it does way more damage than the previous one did, which is good. And oh darn, the cost is weaknesses on you, which is actually beneficial. I prefer ones that take negative things, but hey, you can't have it always your way. Or you can choose the bottom path, which is not quite, it's not half as much damage, and then it puts 45% weaknesses on the target, or targets. Well, this one is a choose the target, however. Pay attention to that, choosing the target. There you go, selected enemies. So there you go, that's the differences between the Shadow Fusion versions. We have the Shadow Sentinel, which we don't need. This is the polymorph version, which you turn into. And with our Shad ratings in the trash, because they never fix that, you're wasting a Shadow Pip when you could be just casting a spell. So you're intercepting 50%, and you're also getting minus 30% incoming damage. I'm guessing you also get an Ice Pip, because and the pay is, they want shields. Oh darn, how hard is that? For the fusions, look, they're already in here, but wait a second, I have Shadow Sentinel. Why can't I cast this? Because this is a polymorph. You need the attack spell to fuse with this. So let's go to another place. Okay, we're gonna go to Conda Desert, and then we're gonna go through this cave following the mouse feet. Take a left, follow it all the way down, Divum, and enter the tower. And this is the Solar Arc Tower, way down here, that you have to go all the way around, and that's where it is. You're going to talk to Elena Darksun. These are for wizards who do not currently have access to the Arcanum, and that is where you're going to get your dark spells, Dark Sentinel, and these will cost you 1 training point. However, I'm going to show you another place to get it, because this wizard can access the Arcanum. Going to go to the trainers, go to the left, and visit Velma von Venkman, Shadow Scholar. And there you go. And yay, they fixed it from test room. She has a little clicker here so you can change the page because she has a lot of these spells. Yeah, you can't look at any of these. There should be like a preview or something right there. Anyhow, we're after Dark Sentinel. Whoop. Ta-da! Now, even though these cost a Shadow Pip each, the good thing is once you use the Dark Sentinel for fusion, it doesn't like increase the cost of Shadow Pips. It still costs 1 Shadow Pip and whatever the spell costs. However, I'm going to take all of these out to show you a quicker way. You could add all those in and then pick and choose your spells, or you can click the fusion formulae button at the top. And if I want Snow No Mercy, I just click it and look, it puts both the Snowball Barrage and Dark Sentinel. And then I want to try out Dark Age. Well, it's supposed to put another one in. That was interesting. It's supposed to put both pieces in there. Dark Weaver, interesting, it's not doing it. That's kind of silly. Okay, so now it put a second one in. Interesting. Oh, it hasn't put a third one. Wow, look at that. Is it only this one that works? Oh, it put a third one. Only this one works. That's crazy, but I don't want 4 Freezeray. Huh. Okay, well that's a bit bugged. This one is the only one that works, and it also shows you how many you can make, because you need one of each to make this fusion combo, but you only have one freeze ray, so you can only make one evil freeze ray. But that was kind of my point. I have Dark Nova. Okay. That was because Dark Nova and Dark Fiend were trained. Those two were given to the ice school before all of this. You're not going to need 4 in. I usually only have 1, maybe 2, but just for the purposes of testing. Well, apparently I just now found out that this lovely teleporter right here will take you to the Hall of Shadow, because I didn't notice the teleporter in the Hall of Shadow, and I was thinking, hey, look at that. There's someone standing there. I wonder where it goes. And then it said it took you to Eclipse Tower. Alrighty then. Oh, we forgot one thing. Epic. I don't want 3 freeze rays. Look at how screwed up this is. This is crazy. Anyhow, okay, so that one puts on traps. So we're actually going to put Potent Trap in, just to demonstrate some things. Now, if you have the item card Bolster Ward that increases a shield by, I believe it's 10%, you can use it on this, because that is not a conditional. So that one gives traps, so I'm going to do Potent Trap. Just one. You get to be the guinea pigs. Alrighty, this is how it works. If your spell card is green, that means you have both pieces of your fusion formulae and you can make the fusion spell. However, if it's only yellow on the outside, that means only one of those cards is in your hand, so you have to wait for the other one. So let's take our Dark Sentinel and put it on Snowball Barrage. So now it's Snow No Mercy doing 125 damage per pip, or Freeze Ray is doing 915, but don't forget, you can boost them up. Now it's Evil Freezeray doing 1215, but you gotta wait for the Shadow Pip. You have time to go make a sandwich. And Snow No Mercy, I'm not going to turn, it's already the Shadow version, but instead of boosting it with damage, I'm actually going to extract their animus. Ooh, yes. Whatever you're going to boost up your fusion spells with, you have to put it on after it's fused. That's the rules. And see, Shadowhorn, Abominable Weaver, and Climaclysm are all yellow. That is because I do not have another Dark Sentinel in my hand. So let's just get them. Pow. Now, sometimes the AoEs still require you to be clicking on a target. I don't know why. It's just kind of a bug right now, I guess. I'm experimenting with ice right now. I don't know if it happens to the ice, but I noticed with my Storm, it is almost always only the non-shadow versions. Like Sound of Musicology is still an AoE, but if I don't click on a target, it won't go. It's really weird. Bye-bye, tree guy. All right, and because I killed him, I'm gonna have to pay the piper, so watch my health. Woo, that went down. Now, if you really don't want to wait for the shadow, you can just boost it up right now. Now it's gonna do 725 to all enemies. That's not bad for 6 pips. Even though you're learning the shadow magic doesn't mean you have to use those versions of it. They're way more powerful, but I guess instead of fixing the system, they just gave us the ability to use it without waiting, like putting Epic on Shadowhorn. Now, mind you, you can fuse the spell, but then it just wasted that Epic you put on it. Go Freeze Ray. See, look, it's an AoE, but I still have to click it. It's weird. I don't understand why it's like that. It's like the spell's having an identity crisis. Oh no, I have traps on me. See, it hits them both. Although it did way more damage to the other one. Interesting. And again, Snow No Mercy and Shadowhorn can be upgraded with the Epic. You can't upgrade the Dark Sentinel with it, which makes it 375 damage. But once you fuse it with the spell, it just goes back to the base damage and you wasted that Epic. However, if you want to boost this one up, you can. Now it's doing 1475. Pyaw! Die, Plant Man! So again, fusion first, enchant after. because fusing a spell reverts it back to the base. The only way to change the base number is to upgrade it using Spellements. Popcorn smells good. And there's my 150%. And unfortunately, the rest are shadow infused. And so I'm going to have to wait forever to be able to cast it. I just wish they'd revert back to the original shadow magic way of you get a shadow pip on the 3rd round. There you go. Fair for everyone. Enemies and allies alike. Then I believe you got the 2nd one in another 3 rounds, something like that. But they changed it fairly far afterwards. Look at this. Look at how many... 87%. It creeps. It creeps. It's the creeping death. I mean, not for me. I'm ice. Look at that. There's like no damage lost. Anywho, let's do a Snow No Mercy of 125 per pip, and I've got 8 pipperoonies. Come on, penguins, do your worst. Sorry, not sorry. And again, watch the health because the guy's dead. And it goes... boop. Okay, like I was saying with Climaclism, how this one puts traps on. Dark Age doesn't have traps except on the bottom path. Okay, so I can't boost that up. Interesting. I don't know why. It's not a conditional. Okay, fine. Okay, that's actually pretty lame. So, Dark Sentinel, fuse it with the Climaclism, so now it's Dark Age, and doing 10-10 base. But wait, there's more. Maybe you just can't enchant the choosing the targets? That's new to me. I guess it's just me not knowing things because I didn't know that you couldn't enchant these because I never use these. I don't like the select the target spell, so I don't use them, or I use it on one person. But anyhow, Dark Sentinel onto Shadowhorn. So now it's Shadowhorn, and now doing epic 1395. But we're actually going to choose both targets. Wait, it's got a shadow thingy there? What? No way. Wait. Is that always there for a shadow spell? Pow. Abominable Weaver to Dark Weaver. 1175 now. 1475. Die. My ice isn't super powerful, but she is near immortal. Why are the spells so loud? Stop it. Beautiful. Oh yeah. Now that was a shadow version. How come I don't have a pact up? Interesting. And now I get to wait forever until the next one. Pass. Oh look, we're at 76%. Shadowhorn. I know it's not Hail to the Chief, but it sounds like it to me. Wam Ricola. Det is a good hamster. Yes. Now, Lael, they can't hit you because you have no health. And I still don't have a shadow peep. Right, Diego? The peeps. See, all that, and I still don't have no freaking shadow pip. Psst. Yeah, we can't put that on there. That's too bad. And we also can't... Yeah, we did. So, we can enchant it, but we can't upgrade the traps. That's weird. Well, I'm about to waste that one, so instead of 200, it does 500, but... Dark Sentinel! No, it does 1010 for Dark Age. Oh, and by the way, my shadow rating is in the tank. It's now at 47. So instead of 200, it's 1010. If you want to double check, some Dark Sentinel to Climaclism. See, it's the base, 1010. So then you boost it up with Epic. Oh, wait, we can't now. I don't get it. Why? Why can you not boost up the shadow spell? Fix your stuff, Ki. And it's, oh, I don't know, 4 rounds at least. And I'm at 65% shadow gauge. They don't have shadow. Why am I not going? Oh, what a shocker. 93%. Take a nap, everyone. Take a nap. By the way, it makes a nice sound when you do eventually get that shadow pip. Look at that. Look at this right here. Full on. Just disgusting. And let's see what type of stuff we can do. Pya, pya, pya. Confirm. Darn it, I was supposed to check on that shadow thingy dingy girl. Ah, beautiful. So what type of cruddy damage are we gonna get? Crit! Whip it! Gorgeous. Wow! Beautiful. Okay, what's required for this one? Only one? Why is it only required for one to have a weakness? That is weird. Oh, that is very weird. I didn't know that. It's only going to put the requirement on one of them? Well, then somebody better put a weakness on that or you're going to get smacked. Time to pay the piper. That was rude. That was pretty freaking rude. All right, one more test. I just want to see something. Good thing is I don't have to wait for Shadow Pip for it. We're going to. So epic on the Climaclysm because we can. So it's going to do 500 damage. Okay, cool. Pass. No, it is still whatever, but there's no shadow. That's crazy. Oh, I know what that means. Okay. We're going to test this out one more time because I have a theory about that shadow requirement, the payment. Yeah, that was absolute trash. Look at that. Didn't even kill him. Didn't even harm them. But it did put on the traps. Okay, so we're going to do Dark Sentinel. Pow. Oh, look at that. We have a shadow pip. Anyhow. All right, so just imagine that there's 4 here. All right, so it requires weaknesses on the target. So first I'm going to hit this one, then this one. Oh, look, it tells you which one is going to have the pact requirement on it. Oh, I knew it. That's interesting. That's how it works with the AoEs. Confirm. Well, not AoEs, the select target. The choose your own victim spells. Very, very interesting. Of course, he's dead, so it doesn't really matter. But if they didn't die... Interesting. So you could, like, put the requirement on the boss if you wanted to, or whatever. Very interesting. But, of course, that's only for the select target spells. Well, the bottom one is the select target, but it's asking for payment from something on you. So I think to have that happen, it has to be a requirement for something on the target, but it is a choose the target spell. Interesting. Okay. Makes sense. Same thing with Snow No Mercy. Requires a weakness on yourself. Dark Weaver's only single hit, and so is Shadowhorn. Now that we're able to cast those fusion spells to shadow versions again, how do you get the spellements for it to upgrade them? This is how you get them. You take your normal spellements and you craft them here. So I could craft 10 Dark Age because I have 10 Climaclysm spellements. I have 52 Shadowhorn. Let's darken them. Of course, I still need 75 to get it to tier 2. Let's make some more. So why would you want to do this? Because once you fuse those spells, whatever one you have upgraded it to, or just your base, that's going to be the base fusion. So if I have it maxed out at tier 3 on the top path, once I fuse them, it is going to be 1130 damage instead of 1095. Or if I chose the bottom path, 675 damage and putting the 345% weaknesses on. Because as of right now, with only being tier 1, it's going to do the base one. Well, I hope you found this informative, and let me know if you have any further questions about Shadow Magic, Shadow Fusion, particularly relating to ice. You can ask it on this video. I will be doing videos for all of my wizards as they learn the shadow spells. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and we will see y'all real soon. Bye-bye.